Do you plan to object, or will you accept the results regardless of who wins the election?
So Caitlin, I got to say, I think that's actually a ridiculous question.
It's a yes or no question, though.
No, it's not.
Senator, I have to know, you can't answer yes or no to this question.
I'm asking a question. What did Congress do in 1876?
You can't answer yes or no to this question. And Republicans,
can you answer my question? Why are you refusing to answer my question?
I'm conducting the interview with all due respect, Senator. He lied when you beat him the first time in Iowa.
And you know, when he became president, I had a choice to make. I could be pissed. I could be pissed off at what he'd done. But if I was going to do that, if I was going to let my hurt feelings make me say I'm not going to work with you, I needed to be prepared to resign my job and go home.
Oh, God, don't tease us like that, Tedward. You got me daydreaming about the idea now. You leaving office would be like leaving a tempest to go on a tropical vacation.
And I made a decision then. I said, listen, I'm going to go represent 30 million Texans. I'm going to fight. I got on a plane.
And I flew straight to Cancun, because Teddy can't defend Texans or his family from Donald Trump slander without a few margaritas first. Ain't that right, Jimmy Buffett? R.I.P., you son of a gun. So Ted Cruz was confronted in a heated debate by CNN's Caitlin Collins over a number of things, including his previous and continued spineless pandering to Trump despite Trump attacking him and his family. But on top of that, and more importantly, he was confronted on whether he would accept the 2024 election results, which, how is this become the hill that Republicans will die on?
Never fight uphill, me boys, never fight uphill.
So I'm going to play a bunch of moments from this interview with Cancun Cruz, and we'll break it down, fact check him with Caitlin's help. She actually does a really good job pushing back on his BS. And frankly, this is just a fun one, because watching Cruz buckle and be humiliated really invigorates the soul. I don't know if this is true, but I heard the American Heart Association might put it higher than walking on the list of healthy heart activities. So drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and let's get this Texas rodeo on the road.
And what I told him then, I said, Mr. President, we have an historic situation. The voters have given us control of the White House and both houses of Congress. We can't waste this. And I told him then, I said, listen, I want to roll up my sleeves.
I said, Mr. President, I want to roll up my sleeves, get down on my knees, and give you a big old Monica Lewinsky, because I am desperate for power.
Credible victories for the American people.
But this moment, what you said there, you know, you talked about your family. They targeted not just your dad, but also your wife. And I think a lot of people sitting at home would say, well, that's pretty cynical. I mean, this is someone who attacked your own members of your family. And what we learned from this testimony is that not only did Donald Trump know about it, he coordinated it.
Look, I understand, but I knew then it was lies. It was lies then, it's lies now.
But you didn't know Donald Trump himself was coordinating it.
Of course I did. I said he did. It was obvious. And at the end of the day, I'm a big boy.
Pause. First of all, Ted, never call yourself a big boy again.
Yes, you're a big boy, aren't you, sir? Yeah, I'm a big boy. I took a big boy poop.
You're not doing yourself any favors. And secondly, how many times must you break your back bending over for this bully at the expense of your family? Who cares about your feelings? It's about your dignity, of which you clearly have none left. Though, to be fair, your tank was probably on empty to begin with. I mean, the contrast in Ted's attitude from when Trump first ran is night and day. Teddy Bear really has gone soft.
If I could say, you know, remember lion, I won't say lion Ted, I refuse to say. Lion Ted holds that Bible high, puts it down, and then he lies.
Donald is a bully. The man is utterly amoral.
I think he's crazy. Honestly, I think he's crazy.
This man is a pathological liar. A narcissist at a level I don't think this country's ever seen.
He is choking like a dog because he's losing so badly. We have to put him away tomorrow.
But you mess with my wife, you mess with my kids, that'll do it every time. Donald, you're a sniveling coward. Leave Heidi the hell alone.
Oh, how the turntables.
I'll tell you what millions of Americans love about him is that he's got backbones and guts, and that he's willing to stand and fight, and that matters.
And we talk to voters all the time about this, but at the time, I mean, it was 8 years ago, but it wasn't that long ago. You were both adults then, and you said that Trump didn't know the difference between truth and lies, that he lies practically every word that comes out of his mouth, and you said it was straight out of a psychology textbook, that his response to an accusation is to accuse everyone else of lying. I mean, do you feel differently now? Despite working together?
He says all sorts of things I wish he didn't say. I value civility in politics. I think we should treat each other with respect, even if we disagree with each other. I can't control what other people say. I can't control what other Republicans say. I can't control what other Democrats say.
Nor can he control what he says, because Trump's hand is lodged way too far up his ass. I mean, come on, Ted. Trump has backbones and guts? I can agree with the latter based on what his guts have been spewing out in court, but that man is so spineless, he gives you a run for your money in the invertebrate category. They don't have spines. And like I mentioned earlier, Raphael loses any credibility or vote of confidence that he hasn't become yet another one of Trump's lying lapdogs once discussion turns to accepting the results of the 2024 election.
You were the first senator to object
Yeah.
to the votes. In 2024, will you certify the election results? Do you plan to object, or will you accept the results regardless of who wins the election?
So, Caitlin, I got to say, I think that's actually a ridiculous question.
It's a yes or no question, though.
No, it's not. Let me explain why it's a ridiculous question. It's not a question. You've ever asked a Democrat that?
Of course.
What Democrat?
But what Democrats?
Hold on a second. What Democrats challenge it?
What Democrats? I know. I've been down this road many times.
But
no Democrat. You cannot compare the two situations. We have talked about that. We've seen the audio of that when they protested on the Senate
hold on a
floor.
second.
Oh God, just look at how confused his tiny little brain is. What a classic Republican response. Deflect and dodge.
Dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge.
But has you ever had a sitting president who refused to facilitate the peaceful transition of power,
And by the
refused
way-
to acknowledge that his successor won the presidency?
So, we did have a peaceful transfer of power.
Yeah, remember that peaceful transfer of power where insurrectionists totally didn't storm the Capitol? Good times.
If you look at in 2000, Democrats went to the Senate, or 2001, Democrats went to the Senate floor and objected to George W. Bush. In 2004,
what'd the vice president
they
do?
went and objected.
And what did the president do?
In 2016, Democrats went and objected to Donald Trump. And so, look,
And what happened in 2016? Because I remember a guy named Joe Biden was vice president, and he went to the Senate floor and certified the votes.
Hey, Ted.
So do you
Am I
want me-
wrong?
So you're asking, will you promise no matter what to agree an election is illegitimate regardless of what happens? And that would be an absurd thing to claim. Like, we have an entire election law system that people challenge elections. Elections get overturned. Voter fraud gets proven. That happens all the time. And the media engages in this weird game post Donald Trump that you insist no voter fraud has ever existed. Why does every state have laws in place to challenge voter fraud if it occurs?
The media
Why do you have
doesn't-
election challenges?
This isn't a game. There was no
It is a
widespread
game.
voter
It is,
fraud.
you only ask Republicans that. You
because
ask
it was Republicans who tried to block the transition of power.
What a ridiculous Republican trope. Oh, you liberal media pawns are ignoring the rampant voter fraud, election interference. You know, right. Are you maybe talking about all the ones that Republicans did?
You have to acknowledge that.
So-
we've never seen it on a scale of what happened in 2020, and we've never seen the president refuse. He wouldn't even let Joe Biden get classified briefings at the beginning. I recall that.
so let me be-
my question for you again, free and fair election, will you accept the results regardless of who wins?
Look, if the Democrats win, I will accept the result, but I'm not going to ignore fraud
But was there
regardless
fraud
of
in
what happens.
2020?
Oh, Ted, shut up, dude. You just asked her for evidence, and she handed it to you on a silver platter, and you can't even accept it. This is worse than a high school debate club, and a bad one at that. Ted Cruz wouldn't recognize facts if they were growing out of his chin.
Of course there was fraud in
No,
2020.
there wasn't, and you still objected.
You know for a fact there was zero voter fraud. Really? What's your basis for that? Show me your evidence.
We've spoken with Governor Kemp. They did 3 hand recounts in the state of Georgia. The director of CISA said that it was the safest, most legitimate election.
But
in
you're saying
United
zero
States
voter
history.
fraud occurred. That's what
These
you
are
just said.
Nothing that would have changed the outcome
Okay,
of that
but that's a
election.
different statement.
But no, it's not, because if
Yes,
it wouldn't
it
have
is.
changed
You said there was no voter fraud.
there was no voter fraud that would have changed the outcome of the election, and you know that, Senator.
So what I know is that what I stood on the Senate floor and objected, what I called for, I'll tell you, I wrestled with what to do in that circumstance. I tried to look through history and precedent, and the best precedent I could find was the election of 1876.
What the hell is it with Republicans and taking things back to the 1800s?
Senator, I have to know, you can't
I'm
answer
asking
yes
a
or no
question.
to this question.
I'm asking a question. What did Congress do in
You
1876?
can't answer yes or no to this question. And Republicans,
Can you answer my question? Why are you refusing to answer my question?
I'm conducting the interview with all due respect, Senator. And let me ask you, it's Republicans have twisted themselves in knots. It's just a yes or no
I'm not twisting myself.
question.
I'm answering your question. You just don't like my answer.
And what's your answer? Is it yes or is it no?
So in 1876,
All right. I mean, that's about as much as I can stomach. He never actually answers the question and instead just argues that the media ignored voter fraud and yaps about 1876. It's utterly embarrassing. And it just goes to show how infected the Republican Party has become with this nonsense. Even years later, they can't accept the election results because they lost. And they won't flat out say that they'll accept the next ones. And then they have the gall to say anyone other than them is a threat to democracy? Get out of here with that. Ted Cruz is scared because he knows he might lose his seat. And I hope like hell that happens. Because if I never saw Cancun in office again, it would be too soon. You know what to do, folks. Vote blue and get these lunatics and losers out of office. I hope you enjoyed seeing Ted Cruz flounder and be humiliated. For Really American, I'm Kenny Hesse, and I'll see you all in the next one.